old graveyard, Alter Friedhof, Flörsheim, and mine, September 12th, 2022. I was here 5 years ago, exactly 5 years ago, and then they had graves, and they all have vanished, except for a few. That's efficiency for you. You're dead. You can be dead for a while, and then they just clean up the graveyard. This one is, perhaps this has some kind of family relevance. What are the names we're looking for? Nördlinger, which of course is Jewish. So all the Nördlinger graves would have been destroyed by the Nazis, because that's what they did. But there were some Nördlingers that died after the Second World War, and they would have been buried here. But the graves are gone. Last time I was here, I saw a grave for Sophie Beutel. She was Miss Nördlinger, married Beutel, and that grave's gone. Here's some stones. I guess part of the problem is you can't really read what was on the stones anymore. Let's see. Lauk is a famous name here. There's a Bürgermeister Lauk Strasse. So that was probably a relative. 1879, 1917. I'd say definitely. Maybe he was, well, I don't know, it's not a very magnificent gravestone. I don't know if he was the mayor. Dreisbach, Hartmann, Hahn, Joseph, Caius. Okay, well, let's look at some of the very few graves that have remained. Just the magnificent ones. Peasants' graves and Jewish graves have gone because they weren't important enough, or the Nazis decided that dead Jews weren't any better than live Jews, which is a pretty shocking idea. My God. Okay. Peter Cole. This was a family that Bloesveld's married into. Helmut Bloesveld, who is buried in the new Friedhof. His wife was Kätchen Cole. Cole and Bush, these are old families from around here, and they're not terribly rare names. And here we have Philip Schneider. Okay, there's a Schneiderstrasse right next to the new Friedhof, and I presume this is him. Huh. So he got to keep his grave. Here's all this. I'm walking over the bones of the Nördlingers who moved here in the 1900s, started the pharmaceutical factory, provided jobs, started the rowing club, and everything was just washed away in the Nazi wave because their ancestors had been Jews. Look at that. It's a very peaceful place. I guess even if you don't have markers, it's still a nice place to be. It's just used as a park, which is fine. Children crying, laughing, that's good. So it's used as a throughfare because you can get from this side of the railway track through an alley directly through to the other side of Flörsheim. Gosh, there must be so many people buried under here. Oh my. Farmers, factory workers who worked at the factory, which you can almost see from here. It's very close where the factory was. That's now a massive shopping centre. So this is it, the old graveyard. Flörsheim Old Graveyard. Looks like Sophie and her husband did not make the cut of being important enough, even though she was the daughter of the founder of the pharmaceutical company that made everyone wealthy. Well, this is the great thing about Flörsheim, these planes. We're directly on the flight path to Frankfurt. And I've seen a plane every 5 minutes. After a while, I don't really notice it. Weber, 1961, okay. So they kept him. He was important enough. 201 days since Russia invaded Ukraine. 201 days I've been wearing a blue and yellow necklace, or 6. Just brought one with me to Germany. Here it is. News has been looking good the last couple of days. Russians have retreated. Russians play tricks, so is it a retreat? There we are. That's where we started, in the cold. That was a little section with some stones in the ground. And here, let's see who else was important enough that their graves have stayed. Oh, another coal. Coal. Killer, geese. Okay. Huh. All right. Coles and Schneiders, Laux, and who do we have here? I don't even know how to pronounce that. That has to be an S. W-E-S-O-N. Cass something. Hauptlehrer. Okay, that's an important thing to be. Is that Wesen? Okay. Being a Hauptleader, a high leader. And here we have, oh my, another one. Kirkel? Herkel. That's Herkel. Okay. Herkel. Anton Herkel. Clara Herkel. Well, these were all around when the Nördlingers had their factory. Oh my. Wow. And they died at the same time. January, May 1912. That was his wife. Okay. And that was their daughter. Okay, she only lived to be 30. So here's another one here. So the Herkels made the cut. And here's this one. Michelle, 1926. Katerina Maria, 1979, she was buried here. Maria Michelle. And that's still here. Gosh. So that's the mother. And here's this woman, born 1892, died 1979, unmarried, as were a lot of young women born in the 1890s because their husbands were all murdered on the battlefield. My grandmother was born in 1892, 10th of October. Oh, that's my birthday. Yeah, Hannah was born in 1892. She must have been one hot chick because she married a portrait painter who was killed 3 months after they were married in Belgium. Then she got engaged to a lieutenant colonel who died in Operation Michael in 1914. And then she married a Lieutenant Dodgson and bitterly regretted it. And her first son was called Michael, of course. Operation Michael. Which is interesting. Americans don't realize this because Michael was the number one name, most popular name in the whole 20th century in America. Number one name. But when my father was born in 1919, it was not a name that was given to Protestant men. Oh, yeah. So the priest got to be buried here. They kept him here. Oh, 1967, 1904. Okay. They've got more space. They were expecting more people to die, but they, I guess, didn't oblige, or else they buried him in the in the new graveyard, which I videoed yesterday, and it's been used since the 60s. Okay, Nicholas. They stayed. All the others are turned around the other way. Oh, there's another grave over there. Okay. No, that's the official notice. all the bodies was not an accident. Can we see who this is? Justinian Theolosia something. Don't know. That's part of the problem. Can't see it. Rao. That's the name of around here. Asinius Paulus. Okay. All right. No Beutel. Sophie's grave has been abandoned forever. She died in 1986, right after I met Lothar. Now, she was buried here because her husband was already here. So that's why she was in this graveyard, even though they weren't using it anymore. But if you had a husband there, they could throw the wife into. Elisabeth Wagner, Wielbacher, 2008. Well, that's cheeky. And it's well tended. So they've got this graveyard all to themselves. My gosh. I think if you die, you need to be a Wagner or a Wielbacher. Clearly. Ooh. Wow. And here's another one over here. Now, remembering that there were a whole lot of graves here, a whole lot of Nördlingers, a whole lot of bushes. Lauk. Oh, there we are. There's another Lauk. There's the Burgomaster. Yeah. Oh, this is, yeah. So there's two Lauk graves. Oh, he died in 1935. So he was not the Burgomaster during the time when Lothar Senior and Ruth wanted to get married. So he did not marry them. That we know now. Jakob Lauk. I found something today that said that there was a mayor for 56 days, presumably installed by the Americans in 1945. I don't know which mayor married Lothar and Ruth. I do know that a mayor in 1943 said that Flörsheim is completely free of Jews. I have cleaned out every single Jew. And 2 years later, Lothar and Ruth were married by the mayor. Now, I don't know whether it's this mayor that said that, that married them, in which case he was essentially hiding them, because they certainly knew that Ruth and her family were in Flörsheim. Or whether it was another mayor. Don't know. I'm trying to find out. So I'm walking on the graves of so many. I went, I guess, 6 feet down. My gosh, there's a whole city underneath my feet. City of saints. Oh. No flowers on their graves, just people walking through with their shopping from Audi. Well, this is what happens. Long before we were here, long before a pharmaceutical company was here, long before farms were built in Flörsheim, long before the Main River even existed. The seas were different. The countries were different. I understand Kentucky was at one stage under 600 feet of water. And the dinosaurs were here. So maybe even further down are some dinosaurs. Everything ends. What we have to do is be thankful for the is and thank those that came before us for for being the is for as long as they were. And there's another one of these lovely plains. Oh my gosh, I love plains. Nothing to be rest eternally in this gorgeous part of Germany with airplanes flying above you. I can't imagine anything nicer. I'm sorry we did not all resist when we should have. I'm sorry we didn't see the Nazi threat when we should have. I'm sorry that we don't understand things until it's too late. I am so thrilled with our reaction to Ukraine. I am absolutely delighted, and I am so thrilled with the leadership in Ukraine, which is not one person. That's made very clear. Ukraine is plural, a plural society. The first day after the Ukraine war started, President Zelensky stood outside with all of his government, the Prime Minister, the mayors of Kyiv, who are about 7 feet tall, the other members of parliament and other important people, to show that they were not running away, and they never would, and they have not. May we never forget the tortured, those treated with contempt, those who live in fear. May peace be our aim, and may we understand the need to recognize threats to peace as soon as they happen. Thank you very much for walking through the graveyard with me, where so many of my children's ancestors are buried. The Bloesvelds, the Nördlingers, the Bushes. Susanna J. Dodgson, September 12th, 2022.